Okay, I think this thing is on. So, I'm Alex, and I'm going to attempt to do a video here. It's probably going to be lengthy, so apologies. You can skip through stuff. But the primary purpose of this video is to show you I, how I've used Claude Code, or basically vibe coded, what you see here, this pattern library full of stuff. And I'll basically walk you through my process and my setup, and I might run a little long on some of the content here, so just bear with me. And I'm going to be talking to myself as I do like speech to text for different instructions, that sort of thing. So yeah, so I guess I'm just gonna get into it. So this is particularly for folks that use Etch, and the idea is to show you a workflow, or an AI assisted workflow, pretty much. And the idea is, maybe this inspires you to look into using different tools, or how to use your tools differently, or maybe you have stuff that I can do better, because this is not an official way of doing things, and I'm not going to say that this is the best way to do them. This is just how I have understood how to do these things with an assist from AI tools, from Claude Code specifically. So let's get into it. So what I'll do is I'm going to open my browser here. So I use Lando for a local setup, and it has WP CLI, and that's kind of what I prefer to use. And part of the reason I wanted to make this video is kind of explain how AI is used to generate some of these things, and talk about concepts like an MCP server. So I think, what I'm going to show you does not use MCP. Through my own testing, I've kind of figured out that just using WP CLI commands, and having your AI assistant use those, is much more efficient than MCP, at least in my case. I've had some quirky stuff happen while using MCP, and it seems like building layouts is a little more smooth using just using straight up database entries from WP CLI. So like I said, I use Lando. I don't have a strong opinion about it. It works from the terminal. There's no UI for it, and I kind of like it for that reason. And I'm using Zed as my browser of choice, which again, don't have a strong opinion on that. But I got my Claude Code file open, and these lines, 6 through 10, this just kind of tells future agents and sessions like a little bit about the project. And then you'll see here there's documentation. So I've got EtchWP and ACSS docs downloaded locally, and I'll sometimes use these for reference. And I think that's a really good idea. And I've got this LLM text for ACSS. There's so many acronyms. Anyway, but these tend to be helpful guides for your AI agent of choice. So there's a little bit here about how I like to have things built. Once I approve a layout, I want a screenshot generated for it, and it's able to do that. So we're not going to get into all the code, but one thing I want to highlight is when we talk about MCP, it's Model Context Protocol. It's just a means for AI for an AI to connect to different services. And MCP basically is just a collection of tools for a given service, and how that protocol can interact with the service. So in this case, if we take a look here, these are the MCP tools that are available, that basically Etch provides. So get update, update page, parse blocks, list components. So, all of these tools here can be used to build an Etch layout. And let's see, there's some REST API endpoints too. Let's see, is it Control L? I don't know. Okay. All right. Well, I think it's line 417 or something. Okay. So, and these are some REST API endpoints that you can also leverage via MCP or just by using the WP CLI commands. So that's important because these are the things that we're using to vibe code these layouts. And let's see, kind of going back to general workflow instructions. So right here is kind of where I tell the tool like how I want things built. So we're going to start using WP CLI first. And then you can see here how, I'll provide like a Figma or a screenshot, and it will create a pattern post. So I have pattern, and then I've got a custom DGS pattern post type. And then it'll build out the structure, BEM styling, and then it should output like a structure for what it built. So I can see it in the terminal and I can make a modification. I can tell it to do something a little bit different, but this is what it'll display for me, or an example of it. And let's see. And then, over here we have BEM naming convention descriptions and such. So a lot of this is just kind of prescriptive and we don't need to go over all of that. But what I'm going to use here is, okay, oops. All right, so for our purposes in this demo, I'm going to use this terminal here to kind of build out our layouts. So I'm not going to do anything super complex. I just want to show you kind of what I'm doing. So I'm going to just pick a layout and go to the Lattice website. I'm just going to grab this hero. It looks pretty sweet. And again, this is kind of low-level stuff, and honestly, you could probably just build this yourself. But where I find doing things in this way is helpful is like you can spin up multiple sessions and then start building multiple Etch layouts fairly quickly. Now, I'm not doing anything crazy but I'm not doing anything like container queries. I still don't quite understand them. I haven't really spent the time to learn them. And, I'm not really using components yet, which I know is a huge value add. So I'm not going to be doing that just yet either. So, yeah, and it's really easy sometimes to get bogged down in refining things, and sometimes it's just better to do it on your own. But how I start is like I'll grab a screenshot. So I use monosnap. You can use whatever you want. This video is being created with CleanShot, and yeah. So anyway, this is my screenshot, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to our editor, and let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna get my current directory and copy that, and then go Claude. See that thing right there? Don't do that. Okay, and yes, we're gonna proceed, and then I'm gonna do permissions here. I'm gonna allow. Actually, you know what? We're just gonna dismiss this. So first of all, I'm gonna have a little text expansion. And this probably isn't necessary, but I just do it anyway. But What should happen is your AI tool should read your rules file, CloudMD file, whatever that is, and it should learn preferences about your project and everything. I've got this image also saved to my clipboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this to finish doing what it's doing. And we'll come back in just a bit. Okay, so it's kind of finished what it's doing, and it's just kind of given me some recent commit messages and kind of its understanding of this project. So we're good there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have it build out the pattern. So, all right. So I can't I can't not talk and type at the same time. So, build a new etch element based on the screenshot here. And I'm going to hit Control V, and that will add, that should add my image, or maybe not, I don't know. Maybe we have to do this again. Yeah, so I'm just going to grab the whole thing here. And let's see if it'll let me add it. Okay. Oh, okay. So we got it. So we see this image here is added. Okay. Please confirm your understanding and how you will build. So it's going to analyze the image, and then per my directions here, it's going to tell me how it's going to build the thing. And we're going to see how this all works out. I'm sure it'll be a fun experiment for everyone. And yeah, so here we are, just waiting. And okay, so this took about 39 seconds. So here's what it responded with. So left column, large serif, supporting Okay, looks good. Collage, 3 overlapping screenshots. And you know what? I'm gonna give it the markup for this section too. And you know what? We're gonna, ooh, do I want that logo bar too? Yeah. You know what? We'll just do, no, screw it. We're gonna get that logo bar too. Okay. Logo bar, okay. And then this is the structure it's giving me. And I'm a fan. This looks good to me. Build plan, create styles. Yep. So far, I'm good with the plan that it's proposing. Should I use the standard placeholder? Okay. So I'm going to do a thing right now where I'm going to talk. So I use an open source tool called Whispering, and this right here just copies my speech and converts it to text. It's free, it's quick, super useful, helps you go a little bit faster. So I don't know if it's for Windows or not, but it definitely works on Mac, and it's free, and it's open source. So if you get it, contribute something to it. That's it, or the developer. And okay, so I'm just gonna answer these questions right here. So I'm gonna talk at this thing. Okay, so for question 1, yes, please use that placeholder image. For the logos, just use the name, so just use text. And for the font, you can use Georgia, that's totally fine. And for the color mapping, just use ACSS variables. You don't need to match the screenshot. So there's what I said, post it up there, and please use, and for reference, this is the markup. So I'm just going to provide the markup for this top section. Copy that, bring it over here, and we're going to grab the logo bar too. And okay. And I'm going to hit enter. And this thing is going to get to doing what it's going to do. And part of the process too, and I didn't quite cover it, is I have a browser test subagent that uses Chrome DevTools and Playwright. As a general rule, and for those of you who already do this stuff a lot, forgive me if you already know this stuff, but as a general rule, like whatever you build, you should have like an automated test in place. That'll help you kind of reduce friction and back and forth, because the AI can catch things that are not well aligned usually, and then do what it needs to do to fix whatever issues it finds. So let's see, and we're just going to go ahead and get into the thing here. So this is going to take a while. I don't think I'm going to put everyone through this, and I'll probably just pause and come back like we're cooking muffins or something, and I guess we are a little bit. So we can see here that it's gotten to work, and a little summary of what it's doing as it goes. So we can't really see anything yet, but technically what we could do is we could start the process again. Like we could totally build something else. And maybe, what do you think? Maybe, should we? I don't know. So there's ways with Claude to enable permissions for use of different tools and everything. And sometimes I do that. Sometimes I bypass permissions, which is dangerous. You can ruin your day with that, so I don't recommend it. So just have not really set up all the permissions for all the different tooling here, so I do have to babysit it normally, but the idea is if you enable the appropriate permissions as you're building things out, the common tools that you feel comfortable with that are safe, it'll build the thing out for you, and it won't require additional approvals from you. So right now it's just kind of doing its thing, and like the verifying the patterns tends to take probably the longest. So we'll just kind of sit on this and wait. Okay, so we're gonna just keep on keeping on here. Actually, you know what? While we're at it, let's come over here. So there's some more complex stuff that you can absolutely build with Etch. I think for the purposes of this, I'm going with like simpler implementations. So I'm just trying to find something else that maybe we want to build, and that's a cool little effect. We could probably build that. I have something similar in my pattern library to this, so yeah, that might be fun to do. But I think what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to grab this list section here, which, you know, arguably easy stuff. Okay, and let's see. Okay, so that's running, and split right, and again we're gonna get into this, and I'm not going to ask it to read the directory. Well, no, actually I'm going to. I'm paranoid. So I'm just going to have it do its thing there. And let's So I guess there's going to be a lot of this happening. Improving stuff, such as the life. So again, I think as a general practice, get your permissions right so you don't have to keep doing what I'm doing here. But I think it's also beneficial to kind of see this stuff happening in real time too. And I think I'm going to start getting my prompt ready. And okay, I want you to build an etch. Let's move my face. Layout based on the attached screen shot. And we're going to attach another image there. Again, there it is. And there we go. Okay. So allegedly this thing is done, and we will see about that. And okay, so now it's given me a live URL, and it's given me the structure that it built, and it's kind of told me the styles that it created, and we can be more prescriptive over this. Like if we have other styles that we've used before, you know, we can prompt to just reuse those styles. And again, like I said, I'm not doing container queries or anything just yet. So here we go. Okay. Well, I'm kind of nervous to see what we get, but what the heck, let's give it a run. Okay, not horrible, not exactly what I wanted, but not terrible. So I think like providing more instruction over here, like as to how these are placed, I think is definitely necessary. But you know, like I'm not mad about it. Like this is not too shabby actually. Kind of did better than I thought. You know, in this, like you can go back and forth and prompt and refine with the AI to update this one, if you wanted to. So, but sometimes it helps. It's more efficient to directly do it yourself. But this is what it looks like in the editor. Isn't that cool? And I can come in here and change any of these that I want, and just kind of again move my get out of their face. Okay. And yeah, I mean this is pretty cool. And then over here, and again, looking pretty good. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. You know, we've got our Etch or our ACSS variables intact with fallbacks and all that stuff. We've got a custom font size here. But for the most part, like this is pretty functional. And then, you know, like our flex here looks pretty good. So yeah, this is kind of what I do with this stuff. And then, yeah, just looking at this, I think, you know, maybe we'll go back and do a refinement here. So I'm going to close this, or actually I'll just leave that open for a little bit. And what I want to see is what we're getting over here. Do you want to proceed? It's probably going to ask me like 10 more times. Okay. Put my face over here. Can't make that smaller. Ugh. Okay. As you can tell, I cannot juggle multiple things at the same time. Okay, So I want to refine this layout a little bit and come over here. So I'm just going to copy this. Oops. Okay. Apparently there's a lot happening on the computer, so the copy paste has taken a while. So I'm going to come over here and say looks great. I want to changes to the image group, have them overlapping. I don't want that. See attached image. So we're going to do this. And basically, I want 3 divs with an image centered in the middle of each div, and then each div will have a separate background. Use an ultralight version of one of the ACSS variables. So I'm a big fan of having the AI confirm the work it's going to do before it begins. And while that's happening over here, okay, it looks like we're done. A new post has been created. It's kind of given me this, and then it's given me structure, so that's pretty cool. So I'm just going to pop this open and see what we got. Beautiful. This is, yeah, love it. And I could ask it to do icons too. So we'll just take a look at this in Etch. And again, you can make this easily on your own without doing vibe coding. Again, we're just trying to save some time. It's not always a time save, but I think the potential applications here, or ramifications of being able to work this way, are huge. This is like such a basic thing that I am doing to kind of put this, into motion. So that's pretty cool. So I'm gonna say, okay. So I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna say, awesome, looks great. Generate screenshot and please apply it as a featured image to that post. Don't mind my typos. Okay. Centered image. Okay, so here we go. Back to our other items. So we're looking here. Okay. Amazing. Yeah. Beautiful. Love it. Yeah. Okay. And coming over here, doing our thing. So, yeah, I mean, this is kind of the thing, and maybe it's not as fun. I'm just kind of showing you one method that I use for this. So, okay, update option, cool, knock it out. But if you have a different way of doing this stuff, I'd love to hear about it. I think one of the things about Etch that I don't think they intended was, as a page builder, they just made like the most friendly AI assistable tool, or just, I can't understate how cool this is that you can use these features, these tools in this way with Etch. So I'm going to come back over here, look at my pattern library, and let's see. Lattice Hero, navigation. Where is my Hassenpfeffer? Okay. Let's see. Okay. Oh. Okay, so there that is. Okay, and this is the post, and we can see the featured image there that it posted, so I'm pretty happy about that. I've got my lattice hero up here somewhere. There that is. And then let's see. So it's still kind of working away, but our list pattern, which admittedly super simple, that thing's already in place, and yeah. I mean, come on. This is, to me, this is, I think, like the coolest thing, and like I can't go to sleep because there's so much stuff to learn, and so much cool stuff to try, right? And so if I wanted to just, as this is kind of doing its thing in the background, another approval. So one of the things that I can do here, so I can click on Services Grid, and I'll just create a pattern, and just call it Services List Grid, or Funk House Services List Grid. List Grid. Cool. I'm gonna unsync that and just add it. And yeah, I mean, people are, if they're not awake on this tool, like they are missing out, because this is clearly some of the coolest stuff I've ever seen. And let's see, just adding stuff in here just because it is just so neat. It's a fun process to kind of build this stuff out. Okay, that Ollie hero is synced. Maybe I don't want that. Anyway, but let's view it. Okay, and then see what we got. Yeah, that works. Okay. And man, this thing is, so I guess we're gonna sit back and babysit this thing until it's finished. So just sit tight with me for a little bit. Okay, so what is it doing? Okay, so it's basically doing browser testing of this layout and using a bunch of different tools. Okay, so it looks like we're done. Let's see. Okay, so it's kind of going on its own and doing stuff here that it doesn't need to do, but okay, so we've got this. It's given us the URL again. Gave us the structure, and okay, so let's go ahead and plug it in, the URL. Okay, that's better. That's more in line with what we were looking for. It's not exactly a one-to-one match. That's a pretty small gutter around the whole thing. But I think, like, at this point, if you wanted to come in here and edit yourself, that's probably better. Let's see. Our gap is M. Maybe that should be XS. Not too shabby. I'm a fan of that. And maybe let's see. Headline. Okay, strong. Maybe. Yeah, you see, like, why did we do that markup there? That seems unnecessary. Okay, and maybe we can do style. I forget, can you do style on strong? Sometimes I forget this stuff. maybe instead, we can go style. Oops. Okay. So I just want to wrap the text here. Okay, well, well, I don't know why that is. And there's probably a fundamental that I'm missing. So, I do have this in like a HTML block too. Again, I don't think that's something that is needed. Let's see. I think we can just probably grab this and bounce it. And then there we go, we got that, and then just do that there. People plus AI, and then we'll just ooh, that's fun. Okay. Style, color. Okay. Well, that's fun. Okay. Let's see, maybe var accent. Okay, so there's that. Maybe success instead. Okay, we'll do that. Anyway, thank you for sticking around with me on that one there. Oops. Okay, so looks good. Generate screenshot and apply it as a featured image to the post. I need to add that instruction to my Claude MD. So okay. Yeah, okay. So it's going to go through and do its thing, provided I approve it. And we're almost done here. So once we get the screenshot done, then yeah, we'll kind of go through the process of kind of breaking it all down, what we did eventually. Tell ya, I should have done those permissions first. So again, you set your permissions up early. You don't have to do this stuff. So let's come back here, go to our patterns, and yeah, I got our Lattice Hero over here. And yeah, so we're kind of sitting pretty with our different layout elements. So in short, I developed this locally, and I'm using WP CLI to interact with the Etch API to build different layouts, and it's writing directly to the database as these things are getting created. and it's building it directly in Etch. Again, that just is staggering to me. I love it. I think it's such a cool way to work. And let's see. And just coming over here to our little hero. And I want to see what this looks like in the back end. And yeah. So, not sure what that does, but whatever. Yeah. So I think, like some more capability, like BG dark, does that work? Oh yeah, that does work. Okay. So yeah, I think the fact that people can just kind of do whatever they want with this is pretty insane to me. Let's see. Class hero BG. Yeah, that didn't work. Okay. But in any case, I think you get the gist. You see how I do it. So now kind of take your thing and see what you can do with your stuff. So again, build locally. Use WP CLI if you can. If you can't, you can probably build yourself an MCP server that can interact with it. I'm probably not going to provide the code for that just because what I currently have is not, I don't feel like it's ready for prime time. But yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. And I hope this was useful. And thank you for traveling along with me. I'm not a content creator, so yeah, this is not polished. And sorry for any terrible sound.